Hi everyone, thanks for joining the Atman Show, and I'm very glad we have again Man and Sheila. And as I've already, told in a previous episode, Man Sheila does not need any introduction, and we have a couple of friends who want to ask questions themselves. So, Saloni, you can go ahead, and I think you had some question regarding, are there specific insight from your philosophy that still guide you or could inspire others to find joy and fulfillment in their lives? Go ahead, Saloni.
Yes, thank you, Anamika. And first of all, Sheila, it's a great honor for me to come face to face with you and have this conversation. And thank you very much, Anamika, for this opportunity to have me included in the podcast. So, Sheila, I just have one question. Bhagwan Rajneesh had an almost magnetic presence that attracted people from all walks of life to his teachings and way of living. And I'm so intrigued by Bhagwan Rajneesh's life. I want to know from your unique perspective as someone who worked closely with him, what do you think made him so compelling and transformative for those around him? What was it about his energy that you believed captivated so many people all across the world?
I don't know what it is, but it was. And it is still. It is a remarkable journey. I had never imagined that I would be chosen for that journey. And it happened. And I hit the jackpot. I hit the lifelong jackpot. And I would not even think once or twice or 100 times, no, except to enjoy that contact with this very, very special individual, this highly intellectual, highly remarkable personality. I don't have to worry about dissecting it. I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed my good fortune for it, and I'm still enjoying it, though he's no longer on the planet here.
All right. I see. Thank you, Man and Sheila. I see Karan, you've joined. Yeah. Do you have any question? And here's Man and Sheila.
Oh,
I
I have
know.
lots of.
Yeah. Go
But
ahead, Karan.
yeah, with the limited time, first of all, Man and Sheila, it's a blessing to see you in even virtually. I think it's our fortune that we are seeing a lady who exudes so much of positivity. While when I look back at your story, it is remarkable, like how many ups downs you have seen. So my question actually goes back to some of the difficult times, so-called difficult times, if I have to, when the whole conviction and the prison happened. At that phase where most of the people would break down, how and what kept you positive and going? I think that would be very inspiring for anyone going through difficult phase. So would love to hear from you on that.
The love I felt for Bhagwan, what I had learned from him, and his teachings kept me alive.
Could you be a little more specific? What specific teachings did powered you through that
Right.
phase?
Bhagwan told us to accept life for what it is, without expectations. So, having no expectations, I had avoided disappointment and depression. And being in prison for even a shorter time can get people psychotic, make them psychotic, or bring them massive depression. They cannot complain. What can happen to them? But I used his own teachings for my survival. And they work. They absolutely work when you follow his teachings without expectations, without conditions, and taking responsibility instead of blaming others. So that was possible. I accepted fully my fate in that moment. I didn't waste my time trying to blame this one or that one. I was the management. I get praise when I, as a manager for doing good work.
Yeah.
Then I have to be ready to take the guillotine also when people don't see good work. So acceptance was the biggest help.
Okay.
So acceptance, no expectation, taking responsibility for whatever is happening. I would say I take those three lessons for the moment. But did at any point of time did you and it doesn't look like, first of all, that you ever thought that okay, this should end sooner or later, whenever but at that phase also, I would say that you were as calm as you are right now. And I've seen you have faced so many difficult questions absolutely calmly, which is amazing to see and learn that you know this is what it is.
But I had no reason to be Rudy. I had no connection to what happened. And yet it happened. Then I must learn something from it. And what I learned is one must accept what comes without expectations.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Anamika ji, yeah, I have more questions, but I will let
Yeah.
there are other
We'll
people.
come
So
back to you. Yeah, we'll just so Sheenu and Rajiv, go ahead and ask your question to Man and Sheila. Sheenu and Rajiv, are you there?
Right. So first of all, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity, and it's an extreme pleasure to be in your presence. That's what I can say. And see, I started reading Osho. I would say Bhagwan Rajneesh almost 29 years ago. Yeah. So my first book, which I read, which I was on death itself. So that was his, and I think at that particular age, when you are in your early 20s, probably that's something which is always something which is at the back of your mind most of the times, because that's a question which, so, and I don't know, it has been, even he was alive, and it is my bad luck that I could never meet him. And you have been so close to him. And I don't know why, but this question was always at the back of my mind. How did you, as an individual, and how did all his devotees took it when he left his body?
When he died, I was in France, on Alsace region. And I was informed by my lawyer that has just heard on television that Bhagwan has died. I personally did not feel anything. And that was my conviction, that if something happens to Bhagwan like that, I would know it intuitively. But I didn't know it. I did not feel it. That I interpret that situation as it was not a natural death. And either way, it is a big loss. Big loss for everyone on this planet.
Okay. All right. Any follow-up question on this one, Shinu and Rajiv?
I'm totally blank. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying everybody asking questions. Thank you, Sheela, I'm like feeling so honored right now, like in front of you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Anamika, for this opportunity. But if anything comes, I'll definitely ask.
Yeah,
Nothing
okay.
now. Yeah.
Saloni, you have anything? And the ones on the, the camera is off and muted. If you have any, please reach out. Otherwise, Saloni, go ahead. You had one more question, right? I think two more. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so Sheela, I have another question, maybe a little tough one, but got to know that currently you're in Switzerland and you're taking care of old people in the country. So I just want to know from your perspective, or how do you overcome the fear of death?
I have to give you the same answer as when I was in prison. Acceptance. We have no control of our last day. Why worry about it? I remember Bhagwan's words about death, that when there is an event of death, which is the top of our life, one-time event, and so powerful, you cannot avoid it. And when you cannot avoid it, all this life struggle, ego fighting, morality, religion, it all disappears the moment you accept that. And yeah, I'm 75 years old now, and it will come. It is not a question of my desire to live longer. It's going to come when it's ready. And at that point, I know I'm going to go through it just as gracious as how I was with Bhagwan, gracious.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheela.
Man, Sheila, I have a question now. So, basically, like, we talk about overcoming death and all. For me, overcoming life is itself very difficult. Like, we have all this, so much of, competition at work and, anger, ego, jealousy, all of the low life conditions. You have to overcome all that to be successful professionally and personally. How do you deal with that, like every day in and out? You think it's meditation?
No, I don't think it's meditation. It's intelligence.
What
It
is
is
it?
like what I said, Bhagwan said, when you think of the death,
Mhm.
you become insignificant because death is a bigger event. And when you think of life,
Mhm.
to live life well, you have to become significant. And with becoming significant, you drop automatically all the insignificant low life events like jealousy, anger, competition.
You drop as in you don't think about it?
Both
Mhm.
can work.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So we have a new guest, Rakhi. That's Man and Sheila. Can you unmute your phone and ask your question? It's still muted. Ask to unmute. Okay, go ahead and ask your question, Rakhi.
Hi, Ma Sheela. Namaste.
Hello.
It's so nice to see you, Ma. So nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I'm in Dallas and definitely have heard Osho. And first meditation was dynamic, which changed my life. My life became dynamic after that. And totally in love with Osho. No doubt about that.
I can fully understand your feeling.
So I don't know. Master has given me anything. There is no question, Ma. Just wanted to see you and feel your presence, and which I am. So it's really nice to see you, Ma.
Yes, I mean, how can I explain how I felt when I would come in front of Bhagwan? It was divine moment. Though I don't know what is divine, but it was out of this world.
Yeah. I can imagine your love, the way you are saying, even in your words.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Karan, do you have, you had many follow-up questions. Go ahead.
All right. And I know you very graciously answered very, very difficult questions. And I would go back to again those difficult times, which is post-Rajneesh film experiment, which I think was fantastic. I mean, just every time I think of it, going to a new country, creating a whole town, running it with all the people, or so much, seems absolutely impossible for ordinary people like us. All that happened, and then there was those conviction, which also equally very, very, I would say, very grim, very severe. And I was trying to read through and go through a lot of your videos where the and you I mean at least the court says that you accepted as your guilt, but what really happened, what really transpired uh, to that event? I mean, specific. I'm very asking very specifically because I couldn't find a clear response from you in any of the other podcasts as well. So
My clear response is not dwell on difficult moments, not to dwell on scandals created for political purposes. If it had relevance, I would be not sitting so quietly.
that's right. That's right. That's right. And so the response which I hear from you at this part is like all of those were created and you just accepted because you know that it's not true and it will go away.
Problem was, they were accusation
Right.
of unimaginable
Enormity,
way.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
unimaginable proportion.
that's right.
And I had left Bhagwan for my own reasons. You have to understand, with me went my whole management. Not
Right.
that I asked them to leave or go with me. I was leaving Bhagwan as an individual for my own reasons with Bhagwan. And my team left with me. It got Bhagwan angry, naturally. We were the
Yes.
pillars of the institute. And the pillars broken down. So he started talking things against us to weaken us. But we were already weak because we had no money. And
Just imagine, Manchila, I want to interrupt. You said you had no money, and then in the whole news, it's like Manchila took 50 million.
no, it was 55 million.
Okay.
Okay. But where did in the news come that?
Yeah.
Because of Bhagwan's statement.
Okay.
Right.
Where did Bhagwan come on this figure? Nobody asked.
Mm.
Because day before I left, I had given him a picture of our finances. When you do a work like that, turning a desert into oasis, 55 million is nothing. And I didn't take any rocks where we put that money in it. And the hard work that we all did collectively, nobody charged money. That's how come we were able to build that
Right.
city. People have to think differently, not stereotype, go over scandals. I say it's time. Now Bhagwan has been gone also number
Yes.
of years.
Okay.
I have also become old, 75 years old. But we are still swimming in the same cesspool
Yeah, I
of
think that
scandals.
the inherent nature of anyone who becomes really, big or admirable. People definitely dig over and find something about them, and just to make yourself comfortable is how I feel that human emotions work on that front. But yeah, I think that's really helpful. So I think clearly those were allegations which were made. You accepted it. You went by basically believe, and to your earlier answer, you accepted it wholeheartedly and dealt with it very, very calmly. And the fact is that your all your terms were for good behavior were reduced dramatically, and very quickly you were out of it. And so that's, I mean, I feel very, I feel happy that I now know the answer.
And I would say one more thing. Read my autobiography, Don't
Yes,
Kill
yes,
Him. And
yes.
there I write a bit more about my time in prison and so, and I don't dwell on it.
I can totally see that.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to Sheenu and Rajiv. You another term like, do you have any questions?
I have a question. I'm not very sure whether I should ask that question because that has always been there um, for a very, very long time in my mind. Um, I don't know. So I see. I have whenever when I was growing up, like from the 20s till now, Osho has been uh, one of the main pillars, I would say. But I have seen Osho more as a philosopher, and that's why this is my question, because I've seen Osho on philosophy, on way of life, on, as you rightly said, be mindful, don't have any expectations. So those are all the virtues that he talks about, and then he talks extensively on various. He talks on Jainism, he talks on Buddhism, he talks on Sikhism, he talks on all different types of subjects. So if I collectively see that part, that comes under the category of philosophy, right? And then he had his own meditation techniques as well. Now, the question which I'm continuously asking myself has been, because we all call him Bhagwan. So, and when we use the word Bhagwan, that's not it's not a human being, right? That's why you call someone a Bhagwan. So in your terms, how do you see him? A philosopher, a genius, or a Bhagwan?
A man I loved, and
That's
men I still love.
Mhm.
And I have no questions.
Mhm.
People can call him what they want to call. I call him Bhagwan because when I met him, that was how people addressed him, and that's how I addressed him. And I have no conflict. No conflict calling him Bhagwan or philosopher or a hey you. No. For me, he was everything.
Okay. Yeah. So I have a next question on the same topic. Now you said I loved him. So and and there have been, again, I would say rumors and all, but was he in love with you as well?
Not an issue.
Not an issue. Okay.
Not an issue. I can talk about my love, and it is not necessary that he should love me, but he did love me. If
Okay.
you see some old photos and how he looks at me, tells you the whole story.
Okay. That's an interesting piece.
That tells the whole story.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for answering.
Pleasure.
Okay, Saloni, your last question.
Yes, Ma Sheela, I'm just asking this question for the youth of today, but maybe it resonates with other age group and generation as well. But you have lived a life that defies convention, and have faced both intense challenges and moment of profound clarity. You talk about resilience and inner strength. So, what advice would you give to those who feel stuck in life or are searching for purpose in life and they want to do something, but a daily life seems stuck? So, how can we all embrace a sense of courage and authenticity, especially in difficult times?
Move out of fear. And when you move out of your life that is tied down, don't move out with expectations.
Can you elaborate on that? Like,
Yes, I can tell you my own experience, how I dealt with it. I lived with Bhagwan 14 years, from time I was 21 till I left. I was 35 years old when I left him around. I left because it was a question of my integrity. That was my conflict with him. And I didn't know the world outside. Because from 21-year-old, I was living life with Bhagwan and Bhagwan's people, Bhagwan's purpose, Bhagwan's teachings. Everything was Bhagwan. I didn't know almost how the outside world functions. But when a question comes of basic issues, basic values of life, you cannot compromise. And I was clear about that. The basic values, what my parents had given me, they gave me the strength and to move out. And I moved out. I went through many difficulties, many ups and downs in this time. But all that I had felt with Bhagwan, all that I had learned from Bhagwan, and my parents' unbroken trust and love gave me the courage to go forward after my imprisonment. And I had a purpose. I wanted my parents to die peacefully, that their youngest daughter, in spite of problem situation, has come out and she's back on her feet again. That kept me motivated. So you have to find your own motivation and move out. I'm sure you are a young person and you had a traditional marriage, children, husband, and things are good in the moment or in the beginning, and then life becomes a burden. But don't let it. Don't let it bother you. Move forward. Take the courage and jump in. Then you can learn to swim.
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you for the motivation.
So I have one speaker, Vanita. She's on mute. Do you want to have any question, Vanita? Okay, Rakhi, do you have anything?
Nothing for Bhagwan.
Okay.
Armash.
All right.
No. Yeah, thank you, Anamika. I don't have any questions, but I'm really enjoying this meeting, and thank you for having me in here. I
Mhm.
thank Shinu for having me added into this group, and it was really amazing. My whole family is watching this, so I had it on
Okay.
mute, and yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Any topic that you want to discuss, let us know. Okay, so does anyone have any follow-up question? I want to ask one follow-up question. Basically, it is very common, like, and it's very, when you talk about, marriage, right?
Monica,
Yeah,
one question for Mashila.
okay.
Mashila, when you said Bhagwan gave the statement and that changed her life, definitely it must be a big shock for you to come out of that situation. But then, do you think Bhagwan's meditation or what you learned from ashram that only helped you to come out? And he was the one who took care in a way? Or he pushed you to try out your extremeness? Like, was it from Bhagwan only who wanted to try how much you can do?
Definitely. And I write about it in my autobiography, Don't Kill Him. It feels like this whole episode in my life was to test his teachings. That his teachings are profound. They are not 10%, they are 100%. And if you follow, it can bring revolution in your life. I write about it. Or at least I imagine I wrote about it because it was so many years.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, my question was like, marriage, a very controversial thing. You said that in my last episode that, independence is the most important thing for an individual, and marriage puts, a thing about it takes away your independence. So it kind of contradicts. So that's why people are not happy. So do you still believe in this? And I know just a brief talk about this independence, and independence is at the top of the line, so that we can get an insight to our viewers.
Freedom is a human nature and human right of birth. Freedom is curtailed in relationships because in relationship one has to compromise. The moment you compromise, somewhere you don't feel happy. Though without a compromise, life will be also miserable. And marriage is a 24 hours event for the rest of the life. The way the marriages are conducted, the way they have spent their fortunes for marriages, etc. Then they have addition in their life because of marriages, the children, and.
Yeah, but again, you said that, my only concern is about the children, right? Then you said that, hey, children can be in their independence of their mom and dad. But, it becomes really difficult, like mom raising the kid differently and, dad raising the kid differently. So somewhere, when you're together, it becomes easier. So there is a very thin line whether, you'll have to be independent or you have to be together, and then finances and things like that.
It is a practical issue.
Mm-hmm.
And when marriage becomes a practical issue, there comes the negative element of marriage.
Mm.
But if you live in freedom and take care of it as a responsible couple,
Mm-hmm.
you live your own freedom, but take care of it because children are your production.
So I know, Man and Sheila, Osho was way ahead of his time, but like living in. So what is the practical solution? Living in a commune and everybody lives together and they are, independent. Yes, yet interacting with each other. You think that's the solution?
Bhagwan always said that communities,
Mm-hmm.
communes,
Yeah.
is the answer for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because collectively taking care of an issue
Mm-hmm.
is easier than as an autonomy taking care of the issue. There you are alone.
Mm-hmm. But in today's society, that's not how it is designed. You have your own single family house, and
These are all the measures of control.
uh, to curb down our independence, and then human beings wants independence.
Right. And not that human being wants it, it is their fundamental right. It's humans' birthright to have freedom.
Okay. All right. I see Kunal has joined. Kunal, do you have any question from Man and Sheila?
Hello. Hi.
Hi,
First of
Kunal.
all, thank you for making time for all of us. Really appreciate the opportunity. I just wanted to know what is your opinion about us, the next generation of thinkers who believe in getting relaxation and getting health benefits through meditation and through yoga and just recreational activities. Is there something that they should keep in mind? Not just the physical aspect of yoga and recreation and meditation, but the mental and spiritual aspect of it.
I don't know anything about spirituality, so I cannot say anything about that.
Huh.
But for me, living life works for me. So I can call it spirituality, but I wouldn't do that either. What I think the future generation needs to be aware of is the work is essential. Without work, there is no relaxation. And work also occupies your creativity and your psychology. What would you do if you don't have the work? So make the work your relaxation. Change the composition of the work. Do the work that you enjoy. Find creativity in your work that you feel satisfied with. And to think that life is just having one big vacation, you will be bored to death. And this is what I would like to tell all young people.
I would love to believe that my life was just a vacation, but I know it's hard for us to make such choices that lead us to a point where we can uh, think of what we are doing to be a vacation rather than being a contribution to our source of livelihood, right? We are born and raised to think of life as a means to find ways to make our livelihood, right? It's I think it's more like how do we shape our mentality and change of life as a way of earning livelihood, and change into thinking of life as a way of living it fully, right? It's a very different philosophy.
But I have to tell you something. It
Uh-huh.
is these days, all youngsters think life means becoming billionaires
So true.
and suffer from it that they are not billionaires.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
know.
it.
I know. And like, if you like, this is what I feel like. If which is a better car, a car that is paid off, or a car that you are having $600 monthly EMI to pay, or the car that is paid off. So,
My answer is it doesn't matter. Use your car well.
They should.
Both are going to go.
okay. All right. That was
That's an
a
interesting answer. Thank you.
thanks. Okay. Does anybody has any follow-up questions? Karan, anyone, Rajiv, Saloni, anyone has any follow-up questions?
I have a question related to what you asked, Anamika, related to marriage itself. Mashila, you've been married, and and I think Osho's view, everyone knows that he was of his own views are very open, very different. Nothing can curtail individual freedom as being the core of it. So, how were your experiences when you have been married, even after going through all that scenario?
Well, I tell you that I was married before I met Bhagwan.
Yes, that I
Yes.
remember.
So there is that marriage has no influence of Bhagwan on it.
That is correct.
And then one marriage, I lost a bet and I married.
Really?
Really? And one marriage, I engaged in, it was, person was working with me and it was very good. We had a good friendship. So still, I would say my marriages were not normal because I was the boss. So
you
I
think-
didn't have to fight hard or anything like that. It was automatic.
so you're saying that if a woman is financially independent, the marriage will not work?
It's possible. I didn't say I was financially independent.
But you're
We
the
all
boss,
were
right?
collectively living in commune. So we all had no money.
Okay. All right, all right.
So money was not the issue.
Okay, the nature.
Yes, it was, we worked together, we enjoyed together.
Okay.
It's amazing. But again, back to the bet part. How did that happen? Can you?
Exactly. Sometimes Bhagwan used to get annoyed with my friends and lovers.
Yeah, I heard him all say that.
Maybe Bhagwan was jealous of your
I
friends
think
and
so. I think so.
lovers. Okay,
But if you ask him, he will say no.
Yeah.
All right. It was a really fun session. Does anybody has any final follow-up questions?
We would love to see you, Ma, here visiting us.
Yes, we would love to see you in Dallas.
I think you have to come visit me around here or
Yeah,
in
I plan
India.
to do that. Actually, this time when I went to Switzerland, I even texted you, but my son fell sick. I want to go to your, that old age home that you have said, and people stay with you at
I
the last.
live in it.
Yeah, yeah. I want to visit that. Yeah, yeah. I want to
That's
visit.
my address.
Yeah, yeah. I want to come and visit and talk to you about that. That is my goal. I will do that maybe next year.
Okay.
Ma, and we live in Dallas, but we have a nice Osho group here.
Very nice.
Always Vasan Joshi, Tathagat Swami, Ma Jyoti, Mila. Just now we had a retreat with Mila Rappam.
I don't know now.
It
most
was a
of
long
them.
time, but it was amazing to be with them. Got to
Nice.
know all these people, and definitely it's one of the journey when somebody comes like this and make you do through music or through retreat. You learn so much when you are there and when you do satsang. And definitely when I meet Osho sannyasis and even other meditations when I do, Osho sannyasis are very loving, very loving. And they're just what they are. They are just what they are. Means they don't judge, and lots of love they give you. A huge difference when I go around Osho sannyasis. I can be what I am around and just move very smoothly.
And that is Bhagwan's teaching, be yourself.
Yes. Accept whatever it is.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. It was pleasure, Ma. It was so nice to see you.
Pleasure is mine, and I thank you all, and I thank Anamika for asking me to be part of it.
Yeah, and I'll definitely visit you next year. I have plans in my mind.
Okay.
All right. Any final follow-up question?
Just saying thank you and being so accessible, Sheela. I mean, I think in every podcast I've seen you say that you can follow me on Instagram, and I did follow you, and you followed me back, and that was a moment of joy. And just to show that you're super accessible to all the people, that says a lot. So thank you for being yourself.
I have to share my treasure of Bhagwan with all the people who want to take part of that treasure.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Bye, everyone. Namaste, and thank you for joining the
Thank you very
Atman
much.
Show.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mama and Sheela. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Anamika.
I'm